Hey folks, hi, good evening, and welcome to this discussion for three challenges together. We'll be doing Figma, which we had. I don't exactly remember when, but this was December, mid of December, I believe. Then Gumroad, and then finally coming to the latest one, which is LinkedIn. Right. So lots to cover. So I'll be brief and quick on this one. The Figma challenge to start with was largely focused on the recent view that you get. Like, so if any logged in user opens up Figma, this is the view that we generally get, and it's a bit of a mess, to be very honest. Like, if you're actually creating stuff or even consuming stuff, it's a bit of a mess all the time. And we want to see if something can be done to this. Obviously, there are a lot of ideas that came through. A couple of things that I felt that we would have been covered or should have been covered is auto generation of thumbnails. So this is the point that I'm talking about, which generally we tend to do, right? As designers, the first the first page of the design file, we generally create a thumbnail or something of that sort. Maybe there could be a feature. This is not a product challenge, so obviously it was difficult to show in one screen. But maybe auto generation is something that is possible, and we'll look at and create. But that was one thought that I was hoping to see something on. But one very important thing to consider before we show the designs is that there is this two ways we use Figma, right, as creators. One is that the file that we are working on, and most likely that is one file that we'll be working on for some duration, right? And then there are files that we open just for reference, like a design kit or a tool kit or whatever it may be, or even viewing somebody else's design, and they all have the same precedence in that recent view. Yes, it is a recent view, so hence it's cataloged that way. But that is not how you interact with the tool, right? The tool is like whatever is the most recent one, you pick it up. And it's very, very interesting to note that once you have a submission coming in, you wonder why is it that frequently used or most used is not already there in Figma. So the designs were very, very nice. This is from Areen, I believe, right? This is from Areen. Not the winner, but one of the coolest ones that I found. Reason is because she's the only one who tried to redesign or rethink the way the cataloging happens on the left panel, right? As also there are some quick tags that you can add. But one issue with this is that whenever you give users the ability to tag things, like for example the photos we take, right? This is not the same, obviously. Photos, you don't spend so much time, but anything that the user needs to do, generally they don't tend to do it, right? So while the idea is great, and that you can create a new library and those kinds are great, but most users are very lazy, right? So it's unlikely that will happen. The file organization should ideally happen by the tool itself, right? By the product itself. So this was very, very nice submission. But yeah, there could be a little bit more. And as you saw in the winners, they did what we thought would come through. These two are very similar. This is from Emilia and this is from Vasant, I believe, right? Oh, Vasant one. Yeah, this one is Vasant, right? So what they've done is they've arranged the design in terms of a timeline, right? So as you can see, today, yesterday, earlier this week, those kind of cataloging basis timeline. Now, one challenge with this is that this may not necessarily be how it works. So you might work on a design file today and maybe come back 1 or 2 weeks later. This all then collapses into the same current recent view that you have, right? So the problem statement, very, very brief problem statement, was that this is for individual creators, and individual creators don't necessarily open up Figma every single day. They may, but there is a chance that they may just drop off. So the today, yesterday, etc. might collapse into one. It might start end up looking like decent. The thought is very nice that it's a timeline, but then there could be issues with it, right? Especially given the two winners that were there, and they had very similar designs. So this was the second place. I think this is Nitish. Yeah, it is Nitish, and both of them have done something very, very similar, slightly different way of showing what they've done. Basically, they've created something called a frequent section and highlighted that section. This one at the top. Basically, these are files that you frequently work on. So very likely, so we have a product file that at least we use, which is called UXAC product. That is the file name, and most likely that is the most frequent file that I use. There's also client files, and those are the ones that we have projects that we are working on. Those are the ones which likely will show up here. What this does, I mean, while it's showing what it does in terms of showing frequent files, it also takes away the files which are not that frequently used. So like design kits, like some icons or something, some libraries that you picked up, those will end up coming here even if they're recent. And that is the cataloging that automatically happens, and that's why these two submissions, this was second place and this is the winner, we really liked. why we preferred this from Priyansh was because there, as you may be aware, right, there is dev mode that Figma has launched recently, and they're going to work on it pretty much. I mean, there's thought on what more can be done. It's not used as holistically as, I mean, my understanding is, at least from individual contributors, not that holistically used. But as you can see, he's tried to leverage that product change that Figma has done, and very likely that is a change that is going to come through, right? Of course, this is a much cleaner design and much more holistic to how we see the our current Figma recent page. But this is, as a concept, it's very nicely done. Also, the nudges most visited last 30 days, it felt nicely done, subtle nudges. Hence, slight bias towards this one being, but both are very good submissions. So that was pretty much it, I believe, from Figma. If you have any questions as I go along, do just pause and ping, and you can message it in the chat, or you can just unmute and ask the question if you have, right? And also at the end, there'll be some time to ask questions. So from this challenge, we moved on to a second challenge, which was Gumroad. And Gumroad was very, very interesting. The reason why Gumroad is interesting is because the timing was very, very. So we didn't time it that way. Safe to say, matlab, it's a happenstance that happened. But it was also something that we knew that Sahil had posted. So Sahil is the founder of Gumroad. And for those who don't know, Gumroad is a creator platform. Basically, if you create any Notion template or any digital asset which you want to sell, or if you just want to give it away for free, it's a platform that lets you do that, right? And it's a pretty popular for platform amongst creators. Some of you may not be aware of it, so if you're not aware, go ahead and just have a look at it. A lot of product hunt launches nowadays are done via Gumroad, because people say that I've created a product, and the product is generally a Notion based. So Notion is almost like an OS to some extent, Notion based, theme or a template or something of that sort, right? So do go ahead and just check out Gumroad. One issue with Gumroad, I would say, is that the creator page, which was the context of the challenge, is not at all appealing, right? So this is Nishit's actual page. That's the screenshot we shared. And as you can see, there's not much about who Nishit is, what he does. Just one big liner on what he's mentioned as, this is like the title that we have on LinkedIn. That has been given a lot of precedence. There's another type. I think Nishit has joined it. He'd
So
be.
yeah,
Yeah, hi Nishit.
should I chime in here? Yeah, yeah. Hi, Akshay. Yeah.
So for those who may not be aware,
So
Nishit is my co-founder,
yeah,
and
yeah.
the one who pitched this challenge, so to speak. I was like, yeah, this people may not be aware of this product, but he was completely gung ho of it, and I let him take over from there.
Yeah, sure. So thanks, Akshay. Yeah, so Gumroad, so I've been a user of it, from last year. And so how, Gumroad is, just to, whatever Akshay said, how it is typically different from a normal your e-commerce is, you can only sell digital goods rather than, in other e-commerce sites, Amazon or Flipkart, you can sell physical goods. It's only about digital goods. And that's why more individuals you will find, who will be creators who will sell their, Notion templates, or like you see in my profile, I sell, my no code workflows or
Yeah,
via make tools that I
yeah,
create.
yeah,
So yeah, so the idea is, see, this the creator profile to see, this is obviously, your first asset you would want to pitch to, outside, on you want to, probably publish on LinkedIn, or you want to distribute it on the internet. And this doesn't it's too much constraint right now. If you see, like, I can't even introduce myself. The posts are hidden. My viewpoints are hidden, and so this was something, as a user, I always, found very frustrating, and that's why I thought, Akshay, let us do this. And I think it was a coincidence that Sahil was, looking for design, and he acknowledged this thing.
yeah,
So now coming to the design, how we evaluated it is basically we wanted to see, given the current constraint, right? We wanted to see how much room of improvement can be there. Obviously, there can be, a lot of data points that can come out, but again, I think where the difference lies is lot of designs what we saw, most of them, thought that Gumroad is typically e-commerce, and most of the submissions were more around, filters and lot of, what you see typically in e-commerce, different categories, different all. But if you see from a, individual creator point of view, a normal creator will be what? They will just publish handful of products, max five, six. So a lot of your typical standard e-commerce filters generally,
do
will
not
not
make
be the
sense.
top
Do not
priority
make
filters.
sense. Yeah,
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 correct. So I think the ideal creator profile is a balance of, you can say portfolio type of thing, something like what I think designers are the dribble, how dribble public profiles are there. That plus obviously mix up because you are selling ultimately, so the products has to be there. So that is, I think, and that is what I think Gumroad also prioritizes in terms of product and post. But right now, posts are completely hidden. So this was one of the, I think this is me, if
Yeah,
I
this is
recall
me.
yet.
Yeah.
This is the meat entry. So we liked it. Okay, so definitely very clean layout he has done, and obviously. So again, we want to reiterate. So one of the things, uh, one of the USP or in the concept of weekend is we don't want any annotation. So while so he has described it. So that is one of the the minus point that he got, for this. That's why he was he didn't feature in the winning categories. But if you see, it's very clear layout. It shows me clear numbers, some average dating, and the product. But again, he also focuses more on the both filters and all, which I don't think, or we don't think is the, is how it should be prioritized. Then moving on to a second one, I think Ronin also
Just, just,
did
just
a
one
good,
point here. Just one point here, Nishit.
yeah,
And one thing that, from a proper, just a UX perspective, and we had 24 submissions. This was the highest across
yeah,
any of the challenges. I
correct,
would say
correct.
majority, I'm not even majority, I would say 70, 80% of them, 70% of them just retain this rather poor UX of having the tab this way, right? So what happens due to this
Yeah,
is that the
exactly.
discovery of posts becomes almost not possible, right? And this is what is going to be likely being talked about, because once a creator creates, so for example, Nishit has created 3 or 4 products, and he may want to promote that via posts or highlight it more, and he may do that more frequently, right? So there is very high chance that there'll be more posts, and I'm saying for normal creators, right? But that is hidden behind this, and most of you have done that. So one thing you could think of is, and though you can have a look at the winners and how they've pulled that information out, is that within, and there is enough real estate available, there's not much happening on this page. How can I best utilize my real estate so as to not hide information that is relevant for somebody who's coming to a creator profile? So that was one very important criteria for judging. While we didn't mention it, it was very obvious because it's a flaw that Gumroad has, right? It's not a flaw in your designs, but you retaining it is something that we were a bit surprised, because it was something that came across to most designs. Just the two winners, I believe, two winners and a couple of others tried to highlight it. Yeah, go on, Nishit. So carry on. So I'll just run through the other ones. Yeah. So this was another
Yeah.
one,
So
which
moving
was
to running.
running.
Yeah. So this again we liked, I think, because it gives the very very rich feel in terms of portfolio feel, right? That background cover and all.
Yeah.
But where I think this falls flat, I'm not sure Ronin. I think probably he, I think he's new to Gumroad. That's why I think this was not there. But the main red flag was that this is not a e-commerce product, right? Like it's not an e-commerce store because it clearly there is no CTA. It says get in touch for pricing. So so these are like obviously not what Gumroad stands for. Uh, so that is obviously something which didn't how Ronnie didn't make the cut.
Not
And,
not to
and
critique,
second is
not to critique the design per se, but just to say that there is more scope in improving this. Like just top of the head, right? There's a lot of space here between the sections, right? Just to highlight. And we are saying that the first fold is the hero. He's done the good job of separating out the product and post, which I mentioned earlier. But why so much spacing? Because then this is getting hidden. I don't even know what this post is, right? And a lot of highlight is on the left side, which is this very nice looking individual here. Unlikely that most of us are going to look that good and we have that great a photo. Maybe we'll have a
yeah.
digital avatar there, but point is the highlight should be here, and also the spacing could have been better. But it's a very nice design. It was one of the top ones that we felt. So it's a nice design, but yeah, the others was slightly better than this.
And I think other main point is I think you see the current one. So that's where Gumroad doesn't prioritize for their branding, and that is also realistic that this
Yeah,
he has taken.
it's more of a
Based
creator
on the
page.
Gumroad,
So this is the
correct.
Gumroad page. There is no branding here at all, right? So
Yeah,
I think they mentioned at the end of the page. I'm not sure, powered by Gumroad,
yeah, and yeah, it's
but
the end of the page.
yeah,
It's
it,
in the
it
footer.
feels
Yeah,
like your website. It feels like a website. Yeah. Then I'll move on to the top two. Just hold on. Let me see.
which
This
was I
is,
think Arin's and Arin and
yeah. So
Bhuvan.
this was the second
Yeah,
runner-up.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So this is
so
from
this is
Bhuvan.
I think Bhuvan, and he did a very clean and in fact when we send it to Sahil, in fact that
Oh yeah, just
this
one second. Hold on. So what's the update? So just for everybody who's joined in and will listen. So Meet was the one who actually pushed us to push
yeah
to Sahil, tag him, etc. and he said that reach out to Sahil, he may be interested. So Sahil did mention that I'll look at the submissions, I'll look at the winners, kind of a thing. So we did reach out to Sahil. And Nishit, what's the update on that? And this has been a couple of weeks since it's happened. So
Yeah,
what's
yeah.
the update
So,
and what do we?
so I think so. Sahil asked me to introduce to both of the winners,
Okay,
and he had sent them. I think his link to his calendar, I guess,
okay,
and so he must be speaking to them. Obviously,
that's nice.
now
That's
obviously,
nice to know.
what is the next
So
step?
at
I'm not
least
sure,
half.
but
So as far as I remember, what Sahil had mentioned is that there were at least 1,000 plus, and I think there'll be more applicants, but 1,000 plus
yeah,
applicants to that role, right? So this kind of gave them a easy cheat code or a cheat path to it. For us, that's great satisfaction, and congratulations to both Bhuvan and Ari. I think you've done a splendid
yeah,
job, and the recognition from the founder to give his time for it. I think that kind of says that you are on the right track in terms of what you're doing. And I hope that's motivation for others also. Not that every product that will happen, like we tag
correct.
Figma will say, "Arey, haan, tell us," but that's a good sign that others are at least open to it. Yeah, sorry, carry on.
Yeah, so I think what he has done is a pretty neat job in terms of just opening up the post, and in the first post itself, you
Yeah,
can see the important link to my profile,
yeah,
my product, and the post, the recent post. And if you want to read more, you can obviously go and read more about it. So I think very clean layout.
yeah.
Something which obviously Gumroad, if they want, they can quickly A/B test. Not much change that way. From the layout point of view.
This is the
Okay,
winner.
so I think this is the top one. Arin, yeah. So there's uh, I think the kind of neat work he was able to pull off in such a short time was commendable.
Yeah,
So if you see this presents all the numbers in a obviously design wise. I think Akshay will be able to better comment in terms of there can be better
yeah.
colors,
We
but
we
from the
the
point of
idea of the weekend hackathon is not to have pixel perfect design. You have as good quality
correct,
design as you can, but there can be improvements to that. Like I'll just give an example that Areen, if she joins in and listens, like the circling here is not come out too well. Like the contrast is not that great, and it's something that the person might miss. Right, the heart could be placed elsewhere. Minor points, but the what we liked is that she's thought of this differently from everybody else. Like
very
if
holistically. Yeah,
right? The statistics are right there up front. Also, the colors that she's used, I don't know if they have a set palette and she found that out, or maybe she's a creator. But the colors, the pastel colors, kind of pastel colors, just gel in with the rest of the property, right? And that's very nicely pulled off. Also, highlighting of the post, pulling out an image of the post, just post with text, which was what Bhuvan had done. This is one level even further. Of course, you can keep saying that ये भी हो सकता है क्या, वो भी हो सकता है क्या, but
yeah.
you need to understand that within 2 days if somebody is able to pull this off compared to what they have. So just to compare, like for like, this is what Gumroad's current page is, and this is what she has done. I think it's a tremendous effort that she's put in. So very nicely done, Ari. Uh, yeah, I think that's pretty much. Anything else to add to this, Nishit? Any other points? From
No,
a
I think that's
creator's
about it.
perspective, right? So you are a creator from that perspective, and also
Yeah.
from judging this.
Yeah, and I think not more to it. Hopefully, a lot of you would have got exposed to Gumroad. And if you have any digital good, I think that is the one of the best place to sell, I will say, because they have their own discovery channel as well. So if it kicks, it can really
Yeah, yeah,
give you what you call
yeah.
give impetus to the side as well.
You need to be a little smart about it. So there are obviously, I'm sure there'll be blogs about how to do it best. But think of it like a
Correct.
YouTube channel. YouTube channel, obviously, as yesterday we were looking at how much you need to be a creator there. But this is just like that. It's a
Yeah.
platform where you can earn basis your skill set and the digital assets that you create. And as designers and PMs, we tend to create a lot of digital assets. We don't know how to monetize them. Get into the habit of trying to do it. In fact, just an aside to that, I mean, a lot of you have created designs. I would recommend that you take some of those designs, and if you need help, we'll see if we can, build it into the product itself as a flow. You should actually go ahead and make them into proper case studies, right? Because there is some validation that has happened basis what you create. There's a lot of designers, young designers, just create hypothetical product case studies and just put it out there, and they get no feedback. You could definitely create, because we've had now this seven problem statements, right? If you participate in some of them, or if you want to get inspired by some of them, we can help you draft a more clearer or deeper problem statement with that. So that's one thing that I've been thinking, but something that you can also work on, right? Just don't rest on that one design. Try and leverage that one design to elucidate that problem a little bit more, because that problem, like WhatsApp channels, is a problem that is there even today. And if you can create a nice case study out
Hmm.
of it, you it's easy to get your profile highlighted with recruiters. Yeah, so that's pretty much it
Yeah.
with Gumroad. We have 10 minutes, I think. I thought we'll take a lot more time. but we have 10 minutes. So the last one is LinkedIn. I would say LinkedIn. What is it called? What's the term? Nishit?
Collaborative articles. LinkedIn's collaborative articles.
Collaborative article. So basically,
Collaborative articles. Yeah.
yeah. So the idea of this, and a lot of you, we ran a poll on the group, and a lot of you are not aware about this entire piece, and that kind of shows where this property
This
lies.
was not surprising. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is not surprising, but to me, it was that I'm very sure it has come in your feed, but you were not aware of it because it looks just like any other post and it's just text,
Hmm.
right? I was just thinking of examples to show you. Unfortunately, I'm not showing you, but you remember when Instagram launched Reels, right? Or Instagram recently has launched another app called Threads. The way they highlight the difference between that post and another post, which is two different posts, comes out very very nicely, right? But LinkedIn did nothing of that sort. They just had the same kind of post that was showing. Let me see if I can pull that out. Exactly the same kind of post, and that got us thinking that this is an excellent property, but it suffers from the fact that it looks exactly like any other post, right? And being text, very very high chance that people are not going to look at it at all. The idea of this collaborative article, and help me with this, Nishit, is that it's AI aided. So some element of this AI will automatically generate, and then experts will contribute and make that topic richer. That is the original idea that I was
Yes.
aware of. And
Yes.
that's how
Yes.
they want
So,
to create a repository, like that Quora. Think of it like a LinkedIn, branch of Quora that you'll have. So it's a very powerful tool.
correct.
But that power doesn't seem to be pushed through to the user or highlighted to the user or even the creator. When I say creator, like I've got twice nudges to contribute to this thing. I never had before that. I'd seen it in my feed. I was like, yeah, what do I do with this? So there was this kind of, why should I have a look at it? There was no interest that was created about it, and maybe they're just testing it out. But that said, at least from the design perspective, there's very very clear indication that they can do a lot more because of the quality of output that has come through. Right. This also had a very high. In fact, this is the highest ratio of registrations to submissions. I don't know why. Since people were not aware of it, maybe that is why curiosity.
Hmm.
But anyway, some very very nice designs. This was one from Nandagopan, and again, this one suffers, not suffers. We cannot put this as a winner. He's done very nicely. The others have done better than this, but just a highlight to everybody. Since we have to maintain consistency for everybody and judging everybody, if you give indicators on what you're doing in terms of the design is
Hmm.
not self-explanatory. That is what we want, right? The design to be
Yeah.
self-explanatory as much as possible without giving annotations. And that's why this kind of, while it's very nicely done, this kind of takes a back seat in that sense. So very nice design from Nankopan. Highlights the main points. I'm not going to read through this right now. If you want, you can separately ping me and maybe you could just share this, or we could connect you with Nankopan and you can see his post. So this was one. The other one that was come, this was one of the winners. So I'll skip this. Yeah, this one. So this was from Radhika. Again, very, very
Again,
nicely. In fact,
yeah,
all,
Radhika.
I mean, there were a lot of submissions that came out very, very nicely. One point that I would say is that it's taking the entire fold. Like the entire fold is, kind of taken. This is not likely what LinkedIn will do. LinkedIn will likely, try to, accommodate, try to see how much two posts in one page, largely from an ads perspective and a consumption perspective and dwell time in the feed. So that could be one. The other is the image, how likely, and the other winner has also done that. But again, very very nicely done design. Nishit, your thoughts on this? Any reason why this is not the winner? Because now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, अरे यार ये भी तो जीत सकता है.
Yeah. So I think so one of the I think the why we have put it out this as a problem statement was because the discovery of knowing about collaborative articles, right, is
Yeah,
also should be there. So I
correct.
think I think Pranav, he has done a very clean job of giving that right nudge to learn
Yeah,
more
this
and
is the one. This is the
about
one,
that.
right? Yeah, this is the one.
Yeah, yeah. So I think for a new user, I think this will definitely stand out, right?
Yes. Yeah.
It will automatically tell a user that this is something new from LinkedIn,
Yeah.
and let me see, let me explore what is it about, right?
Yeah.
So yes, so that I think that separates, why this
And
was,
the
and
design quality here, while design is not the main reason why somebody wins or loses, but the design quality, it looks like a homogeneous LinkedIn page. Like if you
yes,
see everything,
very much,
the fonts, the
yes,
size, the shading of the fonts, everything is
correct.
just spot on. Very, very nice work from Pranav. And the second one was from, this is from Purnima. I think
This
Purnima is here on
so
call.
this
Nice work, Purnima.
Purnima, yeah, Purnima, nice
Very,
work,
very
yeah.
nicely done. We really like the way she's
Thank you,
highlighting.
Akshay. Thank you, Nitish.
Yeah, yeah. So what do you do, Purnima? Are you a student or you a designer? What do you do currently?
I have just finished my boot camp on UI UX. Prior
Okay.
to this, I was an interior designer.
Oh, nice, nice. So all the best to your
Yeah.
I'm assuming you're searching for a job and hunting for design roles. So all the best.
Yeah, I am in the process.
Yeah.
Yes.
So as I mentioned just
All
earlier, you take this as a possible sample and use it to create a case study out of it, right? And if you need help with that in any form in terms of feedback, happy to do that, right? Don't just let this design just be one screen. Okay. So congratulations on that.
Sure. Thank
Yeah.
you. I am planning actually.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then there was just one more, I believe. This one, yeah. So for these were the four that we kind of highlighted. Or there was one more? Was there one more? It says five. Just hold on.
I think there was
Yeah,
one
this was
more.
the one. Yeah. So this one, Nishit
Yeah,
liked especially because of this part, right? This is a nice subtle nudge. So as you can,
correct.
I don't know if this is
Nice subtle nudge.
yeah, so exciting rewards await top opinions. So one part of collaborative articles is that you also contribute to them, right? And the copy that he's used, this come from Raj. The copy that he's used is spot on. Earn exciting rewards, and exciting rewards for LinkedIn is not physical rewards that they'll give, right? You
Yeah,
give a badge, you give something of that sort of.
correct.
You get a top motivation voice badge. You can have different kind of badges by contributing to 3+ articles. So that's very nicely done. And also very nicely, he's mentioned how much time you have. So there is
Yeah, I
this,
like also this. This is
yeah,
not there right now. I think
yeah,
this
this
is
is
not
not at
there, but
all
this
there.
is a
So
new
this is
touch. Yeah,
completely his thinking, and I don't think even this is there.
correct.
Three in your network, even this part is not there, if I'm not mistaken. That's
Yeah,
pretty much it
correct.
from my side and Nishit's side. We'll put this recording up, and hopefully we'll be back. Hopefully we will be back tomorrow with another challenge. And thank you so much
Yeah.
for tuning in. And any last thoughts, Nishit, or we can just wind up?
Oh, that's about it. I think, yeah.
Okay. All right. Congrats, Purnima, once again, and thanks everybody who joined in. We'll see you very, very soon. Okay.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Yeah. Bye. Good
Yeah,
night.
Thank you.
congratulations, Purnima.
Good
Yeah,
night.
bye
Good
bye.
night.
Yeah, bye. Good.